H2O1, we're not going through that again. So just, I will explain what it is and you'll be like, okay. It'll make a lot more sense when we get started. Did everybody, yeah, everybody got one? Okay, so most everybody has been exposed to dimensional analysis. We're not going to go through necessarily what it is. We know what it is. There are 3 calculation methods for nursing pharmacology. And we chose dimensional analysis because it is the most evidence-based to be the most reliable. So that's why some people are like, I don't know why they make us do just that. And I like to give you a reason behind the madness. So that is why. And sometimes if you use the other methods in this class, you'll be a point off. And so there's no wiggle room. Even if it's 151.8 and you put 151.7, it's wrong. Or it's counted wrong. I know that's not a big difference in the real world, but for some meds it could be. So I say that I hope that this makes dimensional analysis super easy for you and to the point. So what we do, we know the steps, but how I want you to approach this is, first I just want you to read the question. And really, I want you don't have to necessarily try to analyze the question before you read it. Just scan through it, get to the bottom line that says how many micrograms per minute will we set the infusion, pump. That's all you need to know, because that's where you get started. Okay, so scan through it. You may see some filler, you may not, and we've got some examples. But get to the bottom, figure out what you're looking for, and that's key. The good thing about 201 and from here on out, as well as on your boards, is we give you and they will give you round to the nearest tenth, or whatever we want you to round to, and we'll say, it'll be like an answer blank, milliliters per hour. So we give you what you need to start with, okay? So you don't even have to worry, what are they asking for? Really, we give it to you. Every question will have that. So what do you think I'm going to expect you to do when you're done calculating? Do these units match what the answer is supposed to be? If not, we've done something wrong. So first thing you're going to do, write down what the problem is asking you to calculate. That's your units, whether it's milliliters per hour, mics per minute, whatever. I don't care if it's miles per hour. Whatever they're asking for is what you can do dimensional analysis with way more things than drugs. You can do it with science, different things like that. It's just a method of cancellation. So we're going to start with this one, and I know you got the answers. That was purposeful. They are different than the ones, I did change a few numbers for a reason, to show you some rounding things and specifics like that. This cheat sheet here will help you if for some reason those equivalents have just left your mind. The ones used in cooking have definitely left my mind. I don't cook, ever. It's not that we eat out, but my dad loves to cook, and we live next door. My parents, that's just their thing they like to do. So I don't, teaspoons, all of that, I'm like, we'll Google it. However, the ones that we'll use, I have you a nice cheat sheet. It will commit to your memory. We're gonna do these so much. You won't even have to look. And most of them you probably already know. So we've read the problem, and here in green is the last sentence. At what rate will you set the IV pump? First keyword is IV pump. What does that even tell you?
Milliliters per hour.
Milliliters per hour. Even if I didn't give it to you, you're like, okay, I know that. So we're going to be calculating milliliters per hour, and it says it right here as well. So it gives us a couple of things. So we can go ahead and write down milliliters per hour. I'd like for you to set it up like this, and there's a reason, because these are very basic to start out with, but it's going to ramp up, and it's going to ramp up kind of fast. And in order for us to repetitively do this, if you'll write it like this, if you don't like it after the fact, go back to your old ways. But I do ask you to just try it. Like we said, we're looking for milliliters per hour. And guess what? Step one after this is a given. I don't care if you have kittens up here. How many kittens am I looking for? It goes right here too. So if I got milliliters here, you have to put milliliters here. Or by the rules of dimensional analysis, that is the correct way. Now, are there other ways? Yes. But this is a fail-proof method I'm showing you. It'll allow less confusion, time efficiency, okay? So trust me on it. So we already know what goes in that top blank. Thus, you're going to write the same unit on the top after the equal sign. So milliliters is here, milliliters is here, every time. I don't care what you find in your problem. Okay? So let's get started. And how many milliliters are we going to put in that first blank? 500. That is an easy, a pretty much given. There's no other milliliters up there. So we write the 500. Now the next one is tricky for some people because they may want to put 1 gram. Why don't you think we put 1 gram? Because it says there's 1 gram in 500 milliliters, so that's appropriate, but do we need it? No. We're trying to get to a unit of time. That's why I chose 30 minutes instead of the 1 gram. There are multiple equivalent things in the problem, but we only want to use the ones that we need. So we're going to put 500 milliliters over 30 minutes. Okay, after that, you reevaluate milliliters per minute. Is that where we need to be? No, we need milliliters per hour. So that means we have to keep going. This X means keep going, or multiply, but. So, we already know the next step. You don't have to go to your problem like, where do I find it? No, it's a given. If minutes is down here, you have to put it right here. Have to, because these have got to cancel every time. Okay, so do we even have any minutes up there to put? So if you don't find it in your question, you have to go to the bank. Okay, and this is the bank. Most of you know the conversions that we're going to need to use from the bank, which is like this, 60 minutes in 1 hour. And that fills the puzzle out. Okay, so minutes, we put 60 minutes per 1 hour. Always, after you fill out a bracket, stop, wait a minute, look at it, cross your units out, evaluate. We've still got milliliters and hour. Milliliters per hour. That is a check, green light, we're good. And what do you get?
Should have been 100, right? 3,000 divided by 30.
So we would put in our blank, we would just put 100. Because on your exam, you're gonna have a blank milliliters, milliliters per hour. You don't put the units beside it in our, on the computer. All you enter is the numeric number, so it would be 100. So, this is a practice problem for tablets using dimensional analysis as well. We've got an order for Lasix, 40 milligrams PO daily. But what we have in our bottle are 20 milligram tabs. Okay, so we would start off, what are we looking for here? And this is kind of tricky when it doesn't say the words actually in the problem, like what are we looking for? Because what I would ask you as your answer is how many tabs are we going to administer? Blank tabs. But that means tabs per dose. If I have blank tabs, or if I have blank milliliters, that means how many milliliters per dose. Unless it's specified, milliliters per hour, milliliters per minute, it is per dose. So this would be how many tabs per dose. What would go on top, starting off first? 1 tab, and that's equivalent to?
Over 20 milligrams.
1 tab is 20 milligrams, exactly. And then you're gonna go, how many milligrams per dose?
40 milligrams.
Yeah, I did bring it. 40 milligrams per dose, then you can cancel out. Because some of these are so simple, you're like, how do I set that up? Like, I can just know it. I don't even have to do dimensional analysis. And the reason I want you to look at this is because sometimes they'll throw some trick question of, like in boards, and I don't want you to be too confused. What we would do, tabs per dose, blank tabs, which is, we said 1 tab is 20 milligrams, and 40 milligrams per dose. Milligrams cancel, and we have tabs per dose. 40 divided by 20 is 2 tabs per dose. Or we could just look at it and say, picture in our head, 2 tablets, and move on. But they get better. Our practice problem 3, I really don't care what it says. I mean, I read it, but I get to the point. And what is the point in this one? It says, how many milliliters per hour should the IV be set to infuse? Okay, well, let's see. Let's get this out of our way. It's like right in the middle. So what are we going to start with?
Milliliters.
Milliliters per hour. What automatically goes on top? I don't even care if you know the number, just units. That's easy. Milliliters, right? Okay, then I go to my problem and I'm like, where's some milliliters? So what milliliters do we find up there? 500. And we're trying to get to hours, so what should we go to? Have we got 500 milliliters in what? Or what's in 500 milliliters? All we got's one thing. 100 units. Okay? Well, we don't need milliliters per unit, so we gotta keep going. We automatically put units up here because we gotta cancel it out. So we go back to our problem, and where's something I can use with units? The 10, yes. I'm deaf, or close to it. 10 units per hour. Then we stop, evaluate it, cancel out our units, milliliters per hour, boom. 5,000 divided by 100. You know when you have a 0 above a 0, all you have to do is connect the dots and they cancel. Then it's 50 divided by 1, 50 milliliters per hour.
That was pretty smooth.
It's gonna be great when you start getting 12 zeros and 10 underneath, and you're like, oh my God, that's 20 divided by 10. 2. I can do that in my head. It's all about being more efficient and being confident with being efficient. I don't want you to have to think you have to put all those zeros in a calculator, because the odds of you making a mistake are high doing that. I mean, and there'll be some lengthy ones. Okay? Now, this one is just step by step, or we did this step by step. I did this earlier too. I just went through it myself. But it goes through it so you can have the right answer. Practice problem 4. You're like, I don't care that it's 5 lines. We can do it in 5 seconds. Look at the last one. What are we going to start with? Calculate how many units per hour. And see, y'all know, when you used to see units, you were like, oh God, I don't know units. Well, it doesn't matter what it is now. You can convert it to anything. So we've got blank units. So what should we start with? 10,000. And what else have we got? That says 1 liter D5W with 10,000 units of heparin at 30 milliliters an hour. I'll just give you a quick tip. If you get started and you have, like we have here, 10,000 units, you're not ever going to put like 30 milliliters an hour on the bottom, okay? You're not going to put like a multiple one until we get to kilograms per minute and stuff like that. So that's not it. What are we going to put? What's with the 10,000 units? 1 liter. And some of you may be like, well, I'm converting to 1,000 milliliters in my head. You can. I just like you to write it all out. Not for me, but so that you can see it all out. So I'm going to put 1 liter. We don't need units per liter. We need units per hour, so we got to keep going. Now, do we have anything liter up there? No, but we've got something in the same family. It's kind of like being from Headland. We all in the same family. I said that in the first class and they didn't laugh. I'm like, some of you don't know where Headland is. I'm kidding. But we got to put liter up here. So what have we got? We can do liter to milliliter, can't we? That's always a conversion, and I like it because it's easy. So we can do liter to milliliter, and milli, I always write my milliliters with a little m and a big L, so that I don't even have to think about which one's bigger. Yes, I know it's common sense, but when you're nervous and testing, little m, we're going to use 1,000 milliliters or in 1 liter. Okay? Then we're going to stop, evaluate, units per milliliter, still not there. Keep going. We know that milliliters up here though. What have we got now that will fit? 30 milliliters per hour. Our milliliters cancel. Now we've got units per hour. And that's what we need. So when we multiply it across, units per hour, we're moving on to the next problem. I'm saying on our test, because we know we got it right. Does that make sense? You let the problem guide you. Y'all get wrapped up and let the problem up there, the wording guide the problem, and that's where you add too much stuff. You start with what you know, which is we give it to you, and let it guide you. If you can't find a conversion, then it's not the right step. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, client weighs 75 kilograms, blah, blah, blah. We only get how many micrograms are infusing per minute? This will not send anxiety over you anymore. Just start with, what are we going to start with? Micrograms per minute. What has to go on top? Okay, look to the top. Now, this is where it would have probably benefited you to read the question instead of just going through it like I did, because when you read through it, it's going to say that the dobutamine was ordered to titrate, and they were titrating it at a rate 2 to 5 mics per kilo per minute, but it was maintained at a rate of 25 mils per hour. So really, it's just telling us that they're maintaining it using that range. Does it mean you have to do safe dose range? No. I didn't say anything about kids, and I didn't ask anything about a safe dose range. So that should be X'd out of your mind. If I don't ask about a safe dose range, you X the range out. It is off limits. So, do we have anything micrograms? I mean, not visible. There's nothing sticking out. Now we have some other things we can do. So, we are starting off with the conversion. Okay? And we know that we can do micrograms to milligrams, right? Okay, micro is even smaller than milligrams. So how many micrograms are in a milligram? Micro is anytime you move down the ladder, it's 1,000. 1,000. Milli. We have a little kid on our ball team, Milanowski, and we call him Millie. And, you know, some people call him Kilo, and I'm like, y'all are doing math right here, and you don't even say it. See, I told my kids' teachers we were studying on the ball field. Anyway, so micrograms per milligram. No, we got to get to minute, right? So keep going. What goes on top? Milligram. It's not even a question. Now we got a milligram up there, don't we? So what do I put up there? 300? Okay, 300 per what? In 500 milliliters. Stop, cancel out. Mics per milliliter. Gotta keep going. Not even a question, we have to put milliliters up here. What have we got that's milliliters? It's maintained at a rate of 25 milliliters per 1 hour. Okay, milliliters cancels. Micrograms per hour, we're almost there though. When we get down to time, it's easy peasy, because we know time conversions. Keep going. Hour. They cancel. 1 hour is 60 minutes. Then mics per minute, mics per minute. Multiply across. Over 30,000. Do your zero trick. And we got 750 divided by 3 is 250 mics per minute. Bring it. My kids will be like, bet. I'm like, bet? Who says that? They're like, it means yes, or whatever. I'm like, it seems cut and dry, doesn't it? Okay, you're like, I still know you got stuff. I just want to show you, there's a couple more in between here. I'm going to show you one more for a specific reason before we leave though. Because I know a lot of you have, I never keep you late. This is the only time that I ever even come close to the end. But I'm going to skip this one. It shows you, the only thing that I want to mention here is to ease your mind about rounding. You're like, well, I learned it one way here, there, that. Okay, when you get a number like this, no matter what kind of problems you're in, so it's 151 point a jillion, I want you to do this, 151.123704, and cut it off. I didn't round that 4. I didn't do anything. It's called truncating, and it's cutting it off. Slice it off. You're not going to need to go past 3 numbers. Cut it off. Don't worry about rounding right there. Okay, then go to your problem, and it asks you to round to the nearest whole number. Look at your question, 151.7. We look at the 7. It rounds to 152. Okay? I'm going to show you why that's important. Same here, cut it off, 114.166 or 0.166, chop it off, and we say, okay, it said round to the nearest 100, so we're going to do 17. You will never round wrong if you truncate 3 numbers past the decimal. This is the one I want to show you before we go, because I hope it's going to change your life. You just remember, I was the one when y'all making that money out there. Because nobody shared this with me until I was out of school and teaching pharmacology. So when it's asking for a specific time, that means a time that I can meet you at Walmart, or a time that we can go to dinner. So if I give you some crazy time like 1885, that's not even a military time. The number has to be like 1859 and below, or 2059 and below. If it's 2063, that's not a time, right? Okay, So this is what I want to get to. We know we're looking for hours per dose. Anytime it asks for a specific time, you start out with hours per dose. You go through the normal 50 billion steps, and you come up with 8.333 hours because we truncated, cut it off. I can't meet you at Walmart at 8.333 hours. I can meet you in that amount of time, but that is not a specific time. So that's why we have to go a step further, and we take 8 hours, that means 8 hours, and the .333, we have to convert that to minutes. That is why we multiply times the 60 to get minutes, and it comes out to 19.98. All time in these instances rounds to the whole number. So 19.9 would be 20. Okay, so you get 8 hours, 20 minutes. That is still not a specific time. We've just got it in units that we can, it's just another step. So we take our start time, add it to our infusion time, which, OMG, I put 3, y'all. The first class didn't even tell me. Dang it all. It was still just, I'll correct that, but I'm going to make that 30, so this will come out right. Even if I added 20, it would still be 61. But see, they weren't listening. And they were nodding like, yeah. Okay, yeah, they were. They were even later than y'all. But let me show you this. So we add our, y'all know how to do this though, right? Start time plus the number you get here, and it gives you this number. Okay, we got 1571, and we're like, crap, I must have done something wrong. No. Here's what's going to be, save you so much time. Look on your T-chart, right at the bottom of your list. Now, I do a T-chart like this. This just fancy because I had to put it in PowerPoint. But this is how you're going to do it on your paper. You're going to do it like this. We get 1571 as our time. Well, to save you time, instead of having to think, oh, I got to do something with 11 minutes, add it, you're going to do a T-chart because it's a crazy time. You're going to subtract 60 minutes, add 1 hour. It's just balancing it out. This is your hour side, this is your minutes. You get 1, 1611 is your final answer. You don't even have to think about it. If you get a crazy time greater than 60 right here, you do a T-chart.
See, that's quick compared to what I'm subtracting.
I know. 50 cents. I'll set up a chart. No, I'm kidding. I mean, why has somebody not shared that with us? They like to see us struggle. Well, now you know how the other students are when they're like, I'm done with my test. This is why they were told the secret. And it's out now. So anyway, it was life-changing to me. I like to have a 100% proven method. This works every time. There are a few instances when you get close to like 2400, when it would make it 2509, let's just say, because you'll add that hour and it'll make it 25, but you've got to remember after 24 it's 1, okay? But I don't even put those on the test. I don't even make you go there. This is enough. So when you get to a crazy time, make yourself a T-chart, subtract 60, add 1, and you're done. And that's it. That's all I got. And I explain every bit of that on here. Y'all correct that. I hate having... Does anybody have questions? You're
Oh,
like,
we'll
well, not
kind of-
now, it's open.
If we continue to work on these and we have some questions, we can.
By all means, and we're gonna be doing stuff in SIM. We even have one day, that I sit down with a whole new set of problems and hand them to you, just to make sure that you're staying fresh on them. So, but yes, any of those problems, and here's the thing, I used to give those and be like, pop quiz, but things that I don't make, and even though I do make, they have some rounding things that are off on a couple of them, so don't stress. If you find a mistake on some of those, it may not be you, it may be whoever made them, because those are old. But they're good practice and at least give you a chance. They're not too off, but if you have a question or find a mistake, let me know. If you just need more problems, let me know. I'll send you the problems and you'll send me back, do you have the answers to these? And I'll say, send me your answers, and I'll grade it like I would a test, and then we'll talk about the ones you missed, so that I can make sure you get them correct. It is my passion that you know how to calculate meds off the back of your hand. I mean, I just want it to be a no stress. 20 points on every exam. 10 to 20 every single exam. That's huge. That's a 2-letter grades. And y'all, people get so nervous and they're like, well, I just didn't want to say anything. Say it. I mean, I'm going to be so hurt, you know, if you wait till the final to do that. But anyway, reach out. Like Ms. Lay said, we have no social life. We're here for y'all. We're kidding. So, y'all have any questions? We are done. Y'all are a quiet class. I'm used to being like,
I mean, you gotta treat us the best.